So this speech is for 2.1, letter A. My audience will be my family, my dad, who's operating the camera, my mom, and my sister. So part of our perception process is to organize, simplify, and categorize information into patterns. There are three main patterns: proximity, similarity, and difference. Proximity is what we tend to think that is close together goes together. Similarities that we tend to see similar looking or acting things and think they must go together. And difference is that we assume that something that looks or acts different from the rest doesn't belong with the group. This can be very useful to us, but it can also be negative or harmful. I'll be giving you a positive and negative example for each type of pattern. We'll start with the positives. Proximity was really useful to us as kids. We would be taught words with pictures right next to them, so we would associate or group that word with the picture, and it would help us learn names for objects a lot quicker. A way similarity can be useful is when you're organizing papers. You can find similarities with some and group those together. For example, if you're organizing your homework and you have science and world history, you can tell them apart and match up the same subject similarities to organize them. A way difference can be useful is when you see something out of the ordinary, especially something that can be dangerous. For example, if you notice that your food is a bit more pink or raw compared to your friends, you can prevent giving yourself food poisoning by sending the food back and having it get cooked better. Unfortunately, there are negatives to these patterns and the process. Proximity can be negative. Say you know someone that lives in a bad neighborhood. You may think that they are bad because they live in or are near a bad place of town, which isn't always the case. Similarity can be negative if you start to categorize a whole group of people that seem similar, or stereotyping. For example, some people say that all Muslims are terrorists. People can see the similarity between terrorist attacks and that Muslims have been behind quite a few of them. So they will see Muslims and then think that they need to be wary or they need to avoid them, or they may just say that they'll see a Muslim and call them a terrorist, which isn't always true. Differences can be negative when people end up getting singled out or bullied for differences. People will compare each other and notice differences, whether physical or mental, and might avoid them or hurt them physically or verbally because of their differences. This is a very important process to us and helps us organize and keep track of the flood of information we get every day. This can be very useful, but sometimes harmful with how we think or perceive things. Although this process can seem pretty involuntary, we can try to think through the patterns we are seeing. Try to see if those things are all really the exact same or that one thing is truly so different. Most negative ways involve people. Try and talk with them first. They might change what you originally thought, and things can turn out a lot less negative.